Alright, everybody, what's up? It's Big Hot Rod and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T-Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up? Hot Rod, what up? L Train, y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Three the Hard Way. Three the Hard Way. Cleveland's finest, y'all. The biggest and the baddest sports show.
Welcome to another edition of Three the Hard Way. Cleveland fans, I know you're licking your wounds today. I know I am, and we're going to dive right into it. But first, I've got to introduce my fellas, because you know the show ain't the show without my fellas. Right here with me is the guy, the man that invented three-a-days, as he said last week, the influencer, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What's going on, Hot Rod?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on through the Hard Way Nation? Y'all know who this is. It's your friendly neighborhood coach, and like I always say, you may not like what I say, but you will listen.
And the man that has great takes on the show, the captain of our ship, Mr. Terrence Austin T. What's going on, man?
What's happening, Three the Hard Way Nation, everyone out there in the radio airwaves? Let's get this show going. Let's get this ship underway. What's happening? What's happening?
Okay, fellas. Now listen, let's breathe a little bit. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. I know this was a hard weekend for me. I'm gonna tell you, my Buckeyes struggle offensively a little bit against Ohio. You know, a little bit. You know, they made it look like it was supposed to look at the end, but offensively, they struggled a little bit. Then I tuned into the Browns yesterday, and we all saw that debacle that we are going to dive into. But, you know, here's a guy that has an affinity for the Minnesota Vikings. That didn't look any better last night. So all the way around, it just was a bad offensive day for me, bad offensive weekend for me. But let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, man. And I know that all three of us have a lot to get off our chest. And I know we have some interesting takes. I can't wait to get into those. But just a quick overall impression of what you saw from the Cleveland Browns yesterday. I know it was frustrating, man. I know for me, it was like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. But give me your first just quick thoughts of what you saw yesterday from the Kevin Stefanski-led Cleveland Browns.
Complete lackluster performance, okay? No energy, low energy. I don't know if it was the heat in Baltimore. I don't know if it was them watching that organization celebrate 30 years since they left our town and came there. I don't know what it was. It was just a lackluster performance. None of those guys deserve paychecks today, okay? They ought to all, say, We'll donate this to charity, because yesterday they just did not bring it. Now, granted, yeah, Baltimore is a better team, but like we were saying in the pregame show, they're not that much better, and they're a divisional opponent, okay?
Right.
No matter, what the odds are, we're supposed to play those guys tough. And man, that was a tough one. That really, really was a tough one, And I did what you said. I came up with my 5, things to, kind of pinpoint. But I tell you, yesterday it was, if you were a Martian that came from outer space and had never seen a football game before, you say, hey, man, what is this in front of me? Because that's exactly how it was. So that's my initial take. Go ahead, Hot Rod, because I know you chomping at the bits. I see you. Go ahead, Hot Rod.
An absolute pathetic performance by the Cleveland Browns. Pathetic. It was a waste of time, energy. It was just a waste. Another atrocious performance by Kevin Stefanski-led football team. And as much as I want to ride with these guys, and we said pre-show, okay, some people coming at Coach Young, because I did say 10-6. I did say it was fluid though. Okay,
it's fluid. Fluid.
It's fluid. So all right, so y'all keep coming, but no, to answer your question, no, just a pathetic offensive performance. Defense held as much as they could. You can't expect them to do any more than they did. The score is not indicative, because 21 of those 40 points were non-defensive. So, but yeah, another pathetic performance by Kevin Stefanski team.
Yeah, I thought about this last night, man, and I really respect your opinion and T's opinion and what we do on this show. So I thought after 2 games, now we got, a little bit bigger sample size than like the preseason. I wanted to get your thoughts on takes on the team. So, when I text you guys last night, I said, man, hey, let's just come up with like 5 things. We go round robin around the horn and just chat about it. And that will take up the bulk of our show because I like to see people's different perspectives on where the Browns are. So my first take about the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to try to start with a little bit of positivity. There wasn't a whole lot to pull out of that game yesterday, but my first hot take on the Cleveland Browns is this. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the league. In the league.
I agree.
Agreed.
He shows up, and you really don't have an affinity for Myles Garrett unless you can get your hands on the all 22 and see what he goes through play after play, the double teams, how teams try to knock him out of the play, and he still performs. And then yesterday, I was really proud of him because on the sidelines, we have always kind of questioned Myles Garrett's leadership. He was trying to lead the troops yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
And the worse that he got, on the field, the more vocal and the more verbal he became on the sidelines trying to lead the team. So hats off to Myles Garrett. In my opinion, right now, is the best defensive player in the league. I mean, this dude is absolutely box office, fellas.
Yeah, I second that.
I agree. I agree. And he like I said, he made some comments after the game that you want to hear somebody who's making $40+ million to wake folks up. And not only is he not afraid to wake his teammates up, he's not afraid to wake up that front office as well.
That's
So
right.
I think his comments that he made yesterday was not just at the team. I think he made those comments to wake the front office up, to wake that coaching staff up. But I do agree. My one is Quinshawn Junkins.
Okay.
Even though his carries were limited, I saw the power, I saw the burst. I saw him. He stiff armed a guy straight to Hades.
Yeah, he did.
I saw that. So, but I saw the Quinshawn Junkins that played at Ole Miss and that played at Ohio State. That's the back that the Browns need. So I'm gonna go on the positive end as well with you, L Train, right now. So my take is Quinshawn Junkins.
And I'll go with the kicker Schmitz, okay? Because remember last week I wanted to Schmidt him out of town. I wanted to run him out of town. My heart was pounding, that first field goal, and he did well. And then he made all his kicks yesterday. So way to, how would I put it? Not go on emotion and get rid of the kid last week, okay? Last week in Cincinnati or against Cincinnati, he had a bad day. He made up for it on yesterday. So that's a bright spot for me, with Schmidt, the kicker.
Yeah. My second hot take is this, fellas, and you may not agree on specifically the hot take that I'm about to make, but I think you would probably be in the ballpark of agreeing with me. The Cleveland Browns draft class this year is the best draft class in the NFL. That's my hot take. I tried to look at another team right now from top to bottom and look at their draft class, and I can't find another draft class in the NFL. You're talking about Mason Graham. You're talking about Carson Schlesinger, Quinshawn Junkins, Harold Finn, Dillon Gabriel, Dylan Sampson, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, if these guys stay the road and the Cleveland Browns continue to use them effectively, I mean, these guys are producing for the Cleveland Browns. It's not really equaling wins right now, but you can't argue with the talent that's been on the field. I think by far the best draft class in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree. I think the only one that hasn't seen the field of play rookie-wise has been Shedeur. But Mason Graham has been quality. Schlesinger, like I said, I see a lot of Clay Matthews Sr. in him. He is all over the place. Junkins, Harold Fannin Jr. I think is going to be eventually he'll be a problem. So there are a lot of good things, and so I agree. But now I'm done with the niceties now. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's
well,
here's my second.
let me add
Go
one
ahead.
more. Let me add
Go
one more
ahead.
nicety. Hats off to those fans that traveled on the road to Baltimore and withstood that yesterday. Okay, I've been an opposing fan in that stadium on many occasions. Okay. Yeah, so hats off to the fans. Hats off to the fans in old Raven Stadium for, bearing through that heat, those obnoxious fans, and, everything that goes along with, that city and that team there. So hats off to the fans who travel, which lets, again, reaffirms that we are loyal, diehard fans. I mean, look
That's
at
right.
us. Look at us,
Yep.
So there you go.
That was real nice, T. I appreciate that.
Right.
Now let's
Hot
get to
Rod said to me, "Why you putting all this sugar in my coffee right now?"
All right, that's enough. That's enough. So my second take is that the offensive line was hot garbage. Hot garbage. They look like a bunch of geriatrics. Okay? That's Ethan Posick. That's Wyatt Teller. Jack Conklin's hurt again, y'all. Jack's hurt.
Again.
Okay?
Yeah, always hurt.
This the same guy that
Always
even
hurt.
though he couldn't stay healthy, they gave him a contract extension. Jack Conklin, all right? And then DeJuan Jones lost all this weight, but they still had to take him off the field yesterday because Kevin Stefanski said because of the heat.
Yeah.
Yes. The offensive line looked like hot garbage. Joe Patonio probably should have retired last year. Okay? I understand why he tried to come back, but he is absolutely getting mauled. And when you look at the all-22, you'll see it. So there's my second one. This offensive line was terrible.
Yeah. And let me just kind of piggyback off, the offensive line play is the blocking, by the running back. Okay. Dillon Sampson. I mean, again, I know he's young and kind of new to the game, but he's got to learn how to block. He does. He's got to learn how to block. Your only job, your job isn't just to run the ball and catch passes out of the backfield. Okay. You got to learn how to block too. So somebody needs to work on him with that. Yeah. Especially next week with, going up against Green Bay
Parsons.
and the way they come after quarterback. And then the following week, L Trains boys, they like them purple people eaters, especially after they got their butts handed to them last night. They're going to be coming too,
They better
so
show
yeah, the
up,
young
'cause
man's got to learn how to block.
A lot of trash on Minnesota. You've been talking a lot of trash on Minnesota. They better show up.
Yeah.
We have this. Well, the Minnesota Vikings have the same problem in terms of pass blocking that Sampson does. We have Ty Chandler, who is in that same boat. Dynamic, can make some plays, has a lot of agility out of the backfield, but cannot pass block. And that is an issue when you have a bad offensive line. Hot Rod, I agree with you. It's just the offensive line is a sieve right now for the Cleveland Browns, and you can't run the ball effectively when you have an offensive line. But I thought that Quinshon Judkins was efficient yesterday. Only got 6 carries, but he was really efficient in those 6 carries. So this kind of leads into my next take. My next take about the Cleveland Browns is this. The Cleveland Browns should start Dillon Gabriel because he gives them their best chance to win next week. It is not Joe Flacco. And let me explain myself. Because if I'm telling you right now, I've watched the Packers extensively because I live here in Wisconsin. And I'm telling you, if they put Joe Flacco back there, the statue, the Green Bay Packers, he won't last that game. He will not make it through that game because Matt LaFleur is a fantastic coach for the Green Bay Packers. He does not let opportunities pass him by. I believe they're going to blitz him to death. It's going to be hard for Joe Flacco to be productive. Even when he gets rid of the ball, he's going to get hit. And we all saw yesterday when he started to get hit, how slow he got up off the ground, how he tried to move away from the pocket. He was absolutely slow. So Dillon Gabriel, this is why Dillon Gabriel, I think, will be more effective and give the Browns a better chance to win. Number one, he's mobile. Yeah, and I know sometimes that can be overrated, but when you have a bad offensive line and you can get out of trouble, I think that's an advantage for the Cleveland Browns. How much of an advantage, man, I don't know. But I do think it helps more than having Joe Flacco being in there being a statue. Number two, the preparation. Dillon Gabriel is Kevin Stefanski's boy. So they're going to put all the focus in preparation for Dillon Gabriel to look as good as possible. If it was Shedeur, I'm not buying into any conspiracy theories or anything like that. I just know that when you tie yourself to a quarterback like Kevin Stefanski has for Dillon Gabriel, fellas, the level of focus in terms of prepping him for that game is going to be one of the best prep sessions for the week that you've ever seen from the Cleveland Browns. You're talking about scripting plays, scripting situations. I think it would be a different level of preparation by the Browns coaching staff if Dillon Gabriel gets to start. I think Dillon Gabriel should start this weekend versus the Green Bay Packers. That's my take.
Gotcha. Let me go, Rod. And I think Rod mentioned it first last night that he too has seen enough of Flacco and is ready to move on. And I thought about it last night. I thought about it this morning. I listened to, local talk, this and that, and this and that. And my concern was throwing the young kid in the fire, like that, okay, against a Green Bay team and then possibly the following week against Minnesota and so on and so on. That was my concern. However, on the flip side, I'm going to use a military analogy, me being an old retired Navy guy. There's a difference between all the branches of the services. And one difference is in the Navy, we throw our junior guys in the fire. I'll give you a perfect example. You take a young hospital corpsman, 19, 20 years old, who's never drawn blood or, given a patient a shot. I remember, me take this kid. They say, hey, man, bring the Admiral down and let T draw his blood. I'm scared to death. Drawing the Admiral's blood, okay? But, hey, after stick number 2, I got it, and then there was my confidence, okay?
Yep.
Now, I know the military and, football are two different entities, however, again, hey, throw Dillon Gabriel's butt in there, okay? Throw him in there. What do we got to lose? Let's see what we got right now, with the rookies. Flacco is a shell of himself. He looks like he looked, again, in that playoff game against the Texans. He just can't move. He still got an arm, but he just can't move. So throw the young kid in there. Throw him in there, against the best coming at him, and let's see what we got. So at first, I wasn't down with it because, again, I thought it was going to kill the kid's spirit. But, hey, just like in the military, the Navy, we throw the young kids in the fire. Hey, throw him in there too. Throw him in there. Go ahead, Rod.
And I agree. At this point, what do we have to lose? We're 0-2. We're 0-2.
Because we're not winning.
Right. And by the way, we're 0-2 in the division. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, okay.
That's double whammy.
Right. So, shout out to the NFL for setting up the Browns for Murderers Row. Because if you look at any of the other schedules in the NFL, it's not as tough as that one. But that's okay. We understand what Roger Goodell and his cronies was doing. But anyway, no, I'm going to throw, if he's such a savant as, Kevin Stefanski has painted him out to be, that he can process quicker than anybody and all. Okay. Let's see how quickly you process against Micah Parsons. Okay. But how else are they going to learn? I listened to a lot of sports talk back in Cleveland, and then, no, you don't want to put him out there. That's unfair to him. And listen.
Unfair?
Yeah. You guys are 0-2, and you got a 40-year-old quarterback that looks like he needs a walker. Okay? He can't move. So you need some mobility back there. You know what I mean? You need some mobility. And like I said, the ball that he threw yesterday for the Dillon Sampson, that touchdown he threw coming in, it was a nice ball. I'm not going to sit up now. It was against the third, fourth squad, but that's irrelevant. Okay? Give this young kid a chance. If he wet the bed, then you move to Shedeur. Oh, you don't want to do that. Okay? But if he doesn't, okay, now you go ahead and you roll with him. All right? That means you got to get your offensive line together. That, because you can't have 2 backup tackles and your rookie starting. So DeJuan Jones has got to figure it out, and Jack Conklin has got to stop tripping and falling and hurting himself. Okay? So, yeah. Quick, my third one, is the Browns' nickel defense. They were, now, if you want to say anything about the defense on the opposite side, Lamar Jackson found our nickel corners, and he exploited our nickel corners.
Yeah, he did.
Okay?
Yeah, he did.
Exploited them. Neither one of those guys were ready for the moment. And he just sat back and he picked up. Zay Flowers had a second half. He did. And all they did was they put him in the slot. They made sure the Browns put that nickel defender on him. All right. And then that nickel defender was getting cooked. Okay. Honorable mention. Where was Denzel Ward yesterday? He got cramped up.
Exactly.
And disappeared.
Cramps. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So come on, man. You're an athlete.
Did he get Hot Rod? Did he get hurt yesterday, or was he just a no show on
the report was that he cramped up.
Cramps.
That he was just cramping up. Okay.
Yeah. It was hot yesterday here on the East Coast. It was hot. It was hot.
But T, stop.
I ain't making excuses. It
was hot, and Myles Garrett took a blow. It was hot, and Mason Graham was there. Greg Newsome, as much as I talk about Greg Newsome, he played the entire game. So what's the difference? Okay, drink some pickle juice. Hydrate yourself. You know you're going into hot weather. What's going on? But no, our nickel, that's a big problem with the Browns defense right now, is that nickel defender. By them moving Greg Newsome on the outside, they are struggling for nickel D. And you think the Green Bay Packers are not going to exploit that next week? They are.
So what's the answer, Rod? If any, what's the answer?
You're going to have to either at the end of the day, here's my hot take. They're not being coached up. They're not, because Ross Tucker, if you listen to the broadcast, he talked about the nickel defender being over the top when he had safety help. That's how they got the first touchdown. He didn't have to give up outside leverage. He had help from the safety over the top. Okay. So that's to me, that's poor coaching. It just turns into poor coaching. And I coached for years, and my mindset was, when the kid does well, give praises to the kid. When the kid doesn't do well, that's my fault. Yeah. I didn't coach him up enough.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
So you're looking at all these mistakes that happened with the Browns yesterday. It's coaching. I said this before. You know what? I'm away. I'm away for my next one. I got my next one.
And like in the military, it's leadership. So you're right. In the military, it's leadership. It's leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. What's your third one, T?
Special teams, man. Special teams. I don't know who that kid is that's returning punts. I mean, he looks scared to death back there. When we are receiving the ball, my eyes are closed, man. My eyes are closed. So, special teams. It's minus the punter. I like what the punter does. Okay, I like what he does. He's got a big leg and he'll pin the ball deep. But when we're receiving kicks, man, I'm looking out the corner of my eye. So, but again, that goes back to what Rod is saying. That goes back to coaching. Who's the special teams coach again, Rod? Who is he?
Bubba Ventrone.
Yeah.
And the returner yesterday, that was Isaiah Bond. That was his first game.
Yeah, Bond.
That was his first game at returning the. I don't know when the last time he ever returned a punt. You took my thunder. Bubba Ventrone. This special teams has been terrible the past 2 years. Why is and I don't wish anybody losing their job, but why is Bubba Ventrone continuing to do this? Okay? Yeah. That blocked punt on Corey Bororquez yesterday, Ronnie Hickman got absolutely destroyed. There's a reason that they called him the personal protector, because he's supposed to protect the person. He was a victim yesterday. Straight up the middle. That's coaching, guys. The player has some responsibility, but you're coaching them all week for situations like this.
Like that, right.
And listen, I heard it on a couple broadcasts back in Cleveland. When you go back and you look at the game, does it look like that the Ravens actually worked hard? They did.
Yeah, people talked about their energy, like they really didn't put off a lot of energy for that game.
Not really, no.
No, they didn't. So Yes. I piggyback off of T. That special teams was terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, you're talking about trying to be good. Your goal is to be good in all three phases of
Mhm.
football: offensively, defensively, special teams. I think the best unit right now that we has is the defense, but special teams
That's it.
needs a lot of work. The offense
Yeah.
needs a lot of work. So that was a good one, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Special teams needs to improve. My other hot take is this: the Cleveland Browns will start the season 0-6. 0-6.
You said 0-6?
0-6, man. Green Bay Packers are going to be tough. Detroit Lions are going to be tough. I think the Lions that showed up week 1 against the Packers, that is not going to be what the Lions are going to look like all year. I still don't think they're going to win the division, but I think the Lions will play better. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be tough to stop. And then the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but J.J. McCarthy is out. And it looks like JJ is going to be out for at least 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain.
Wow.
I don't know if you watched. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know if you watched the game last night, but he heard it scrambling to the sidelines. He came off limping, came back in, couldn't really put good weight on it, so they took him to the side. They wrapped it up. He did finish the game, but Kevin O'Connell said he came in big time soreness. It's looking like he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, but it's probably going to be on the 4 weekend. So Carson Wentz, they're ramping up Carson Wentz to take over the Minnesota Vikings offense. So I'm going to say this. It's been so bad. You look at the 8 quarters of the Minnesota Vikings, they've played 7 bad quarters, 1 good one. I think Carson Wentz is going to make this thing look better. He's not the answer. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, but he's got a lot of experience, a lot of good leadership, knows the offense, played in Kansas City last year, so he's been around really, really good coaches. I think instantly he's going to make this thing look a lot better. So at first I thought, man, the Browns have a chance to pull this off against the Vikings. If the Vikings offense continued to look like it looked, I think Carson Wentz is going to make that look a little bit better. So I think the Minnesota Vikings do win that game versus the Browns. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, looking at Pittsburgh right now and looking at the Browns right now, I think Pittsburgh can pull that out. Can the Browns beat them? Yes. But if you put a gun in my head and made me choose, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm looking at 0-6 start for the Cleveland Browns. After that, I think they can get some wins, man. They got Miami after that. They got New England after that. They got a bye after that. Then they come back and play the New York Jets before they hit the Baltimore Ravens again. So I think an 0-6 start after that with a chance to win some games. But that's my hot take.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
0-6, and they're gonna rip off the next 10. I know I'm tripping, y'all. I'm tripping.
Wow.
I know. I said 10. I said 10-7, y'all. But it's fluent. Okay.
Yeah.
So for all you haters out there that's ready to come at Coach Young, come on. I ain't got no problem with it. I understand. I can be wrong too. But right now, the way that they're playing, I can't even argue that, L Train. Can't even argue the Luke going 0-6. Now, here's my question. Let me throw this question at you two. If the Browns are 0-6, does heads roll? Speaking of Kevin Stefanski, speaking of Joe Flacco, if they are 0-6, do you make changes?
Yeah.
You guys are you're Jimmy Haslam right now, both of you. Your team goes 0-6. You trying to get that team into the stadium in Brook Park, and you're 0-6. Do you roll heads?
I think you do. Let me back up a little bit. At the beginning of the season, again, I had no expectations out of this team. Yeah, I had no expectations. However, after week one, what they showed us, I said, well, wait a minute. Let me take a different look at it. Let me look at it. Fast forward to yesterday. Now I see why I, didn't have any expectations. But I will say again, it's still early. However, to answer your question, Rod, if they go 0-6, the pressure from the media and from the fans is just going to be so heavy. Yeah, they're going to have to make some changes. They're going to. So heads will roll. Yeah, if we go 0-6, if we go 0-6, I see it just snowballing, even getting worse. I don't see us maybe beating that Miami team or that New England team or the Jets team. If we go on 6, man, it's because we went undefeated in the preseason. Remember last time we went
Yeah.
undefeated in the preseason?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
went 0 and
absolutely.
freaking 16. So an 0 and 6 start will not be good, man. It won't be good. It won't be good. So
And you
there
had
you
to
go.
bring that up, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
that was awful. Remember that? Yeah. So there we go. There we
No,
go.
hey, Hot Rod, I thought it was. I think that's a very,
Yeah.
that's a good question, man.
Yeah.
Because I think it really depends on what it looks like at 0 and 6. If it's a competitive 0 and 6, no, I think they wait the season out to see what the end game is. If it's a bad looking 0 and 6, people can't move the ball, they're getting shelled like they got shelled with the Ravens, I think they make a midseason change. But the first rule of thumb is these general managers, these owners, they don't like to disrupt the season. They don't like to make a change in the middle of the season. So but they will. It just depends on what the optics look like from the Cleveland Browns. I don't think it's any harm in terms of waiting this thing out. I think whenever you talk to somebody and debate them about Kevin Stefanski, the first thing that they throw up is Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. So that's going to buy him some time a little bit. I do think the organization likes him. I think his players like him somewhat. So I don't see them making a move on Kevin Stefanski in the middle of the year. But at the end of the year, all bets are off. You've already heard the whispers. The dream coach is probably Nick Saban. Everybody's talking about Nick Saban. Nick Saban is making a lot of money doing what he's doing on College Game Day. I don't see him coming to the Cleveland Browns, but you never know. But I think at the end of the season, all bets are off, man. All bets are off.
Yeah, you're right.
Now,
You're right.
I follow up with this. Could I see the Browns making a change in 0 and 6, 0 and 7? Yes. Would they go external? No. I think they would elevate. The only person on that team that other players respect other than Kevin Stefanski is Jim Schwartz. Is Schwartz.
And
he had his opportunity and it wasn't great in Detroit, but he's a defensive mind. He's been a head coach before.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the fan base is getting ready to burn this organization into effigy. They're tired of the excuses. They are tired of people insulting their intelligence. Cleveland is a football town. It's got a good, strong football fan base. Okay,
yes, it is.
Don't get me wrong. We love the Cavaliers, we love the Guardians, but when you talk about Cleveland, you're talking about the Browns. It's a football town, and like I said, I think for me is the constant insulting of the fans' intelligence by Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry is starting to wear thin because Kevin Stefanski, I've said this before, I'll say it again, to me, is nothing but a high-priced used car salesman. He never answers the question. He avoids it. He evades it as much as possible. We talk pre-show. Yeah, we talk pre-show. Mary Kay Cabot asked him directly, hey, do you feel it's time to change quarterbacks? Oh, well, we all played well. Coaches didn't coach well. Players didn't play well. That's not the question I asked you. That's not the question I asked you. Stop evading questions. Listen, you won 3 games last year, sir. Okay? And right now, in the last 2 years, all right, you are 3-16, sir. Okay? You're walking into Hugh Jackson era. You're walking into that aura.
Right.
That's
okay?
Yep.
Hugh Jackson. All right? So I get it, the 2-time coach of the year. I get it. I understand that, okay? One was during COVID, all right, which in the biggest game that they played, he didn't even coach, okay, because he wasn't there, all right? He took Baker Mayfield. They had a wonderful season. They did. But then what did he do to Baker Mayfield? He abandoned him. Why?
Got him out of there.
He abandoned him because he's looking for Deshaun Watson. How did that work out, guys? And now let's throw this back on the table. Deshaun Watson has a couple more games that he's on the IR. If you go 0-7, okay, I'll leave that out there.
I've seen enough from Deshaun, but I can see them make that move. I can see them making the move to, if he's healthy and ready to go, I could see the Cleveland Browns making that move. I think, however, though, before Deshaun Watson gets to that point where he can play, I think they're going to take a real good look at Dillon Gabriel. I don't know if it's going to come this week, probably won't come this week, but the following week, because I think if the Browns continues to lose like they lose, they got to figure out what they got in terms of their rookie quarterback.
Right.
And then to rewind on what you started with, Hot Rod, I will debate this into the ground. There are no better fans, no more passionate fans than the Cleveland fan base in Ohio. You're talking about a loyal fan base that no matter how much they get disappointed or what the team is doing, those people work hard for their money. They keep coming back. There's no better fans than the fans of Cleveland. I tell people up here all the time, don't mistake the team's lack of success for a lack of fan base, because the fan base is absolutely passionate.
And getting back to one other thing you were saying, Hot Rod, if they if Coach gets canned and Jim Schwartz takes over, that'll be just, of course, to get them to the end of the season. He'll take over and run the helm, to the end of the season, and then the search will be on for the Nick Sabans and whomever else is out there. Okay, but yeah, man, I hate that we're already talking that after the second game, but the way they looked yesterday,
second game,
after yesterday, hey, it was that was awful, man. That was awful.
Yeah,
that was awful. Yep.
Is it my take? I think it's my
yours.
take again. Okay. This is my last one, man. The Joe Burrow injury directly affects the Cleveland Browns. This is my take. If Joe Burrow, right now they're still speculating how long he's going to be out. I've heard week 15. I've heard if they make the playoffs, he'll be back, but I've heard it's going to be an extended amount of time. If Joe Burrow is out that long, the Cleveland Browns, even though I said they will start 0-6, will not finish in last place in the division. That's my hot take.
That's your hot take? Their backup, what's his backup's name? Is it Browning?
Browning, he played for the Vikings.
Yeah. He he made it happen yesterday.
He did.
And I've seen him in the past. He's no slouch, okay? He's no slouch. He reminds me of an old quarterback the Steelers had back in the day that would cover when Bradshaw got hurt, by the name of Cliff Stout. Cliff Stout, similar to Charlie Batch, there's quarterbacks, that can back up, Tyrod Taylor, guys that can come in and hold it down. I think that Browning guy can hold it down. I really do. I think he can hold it down, and it was good for Cincinnati, that team I really, really dislike, to start off 2-0, because, normally they start off cold. Now, if they were 0-2, hey, maybe the Browns could, beat them as far as not staying in the basement. But with Browning, I think he's very serviceable, and they might be okay.
The fact that we had Joe Burrow get hurt for us to not be in last place in the division, what does that say? Let's keep it 100, y'all. Joe Burrow goes down. Hooray! The Browns won't be last. Let me tell you something, guys. And let me preface this by saying, I want y'all to know, I am a Browns fan until the day I'm taken away from this earth. And I know a lot of folks will think, okay, well, the way he talked, he can't be a Browns fan. I am. I have just prepared.
As a Browns fan.
Yeah, I've just prepared myself for disappointment, gentlemen. I've just prepared myself for it, okay? Because excitement is the first stage of disappointment when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. They find a creative way, okay? So I understand your take, L Train. I'm going to push back and say they still going to come in last in the Central Division. In the division, the NFC, in the AFC North. They're still going to be last. Okay, until they right this ship. And the thing is, it's not the personnel, guys. It is the coaching. It's the coach. And I'm not just saying Kevin Stefanski. Don't get it messed up. I'm talking Deuce Staley when it comes to the running backs. I'm calling Bubba Ventrone when it comes to special teams. Don't know who the wide receivers coach is. Don't care. The wide receivers coach, he's not very good either. The only one that gets a pass on the offensive side of the ball is the tight ends coach right now. That's it. Because if you look at the offensive plays from yesterday, I've coached high school football for a long time. I didn't see nothing different from a high school game that I've coached to the pros. I mean, they showed, there was one clip that they showed where Flacco dropped back and all the receivers were covered. They can't get open.
Yeah,
Jerry Jeudy can't get open. Cedric Tillman can't get open. We still had drops yesterday too, gentlemen. Okay?
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy led the NFL in drops. He's going that direction again. Okay?
And you're not talking about a great Ravens secondary. They're not great in the secondary.
No. And so he's starting to make Steve Smith look like a prophet. I'm going to be honest with you. Everything that Steve Smith has said so far has come to fruition when it comes to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy can get angry all he wants. The reason Jerry Jeudy had a good season last year was Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston just closed his eyes and just threw the ball. Okay? That's what you got out of Jameis. Okay? Joe Flacco can't get out of his own way. All right? And I'm a Joe Flacco fan, y'all. I was happy when they brought Joe Flacco back. But now it looks like that trade, the trade, the Kenny Pickett trade, looks like a terrible trade. Because I would have rather had Kenny Pickett than Joe Flacco. At least Kenny Pickett can move. Joe Flacco cannot move. He can't move. So,
and that was my worry coming into the season. That was my worry. I was like, last time I saw Joe Flacco with the Colts, man, he didn't look like he looked in Cleveland. I thought, okay, maybe that's just what the Colts was having him doing. Maybe it was a byproduct of the system he was in. And I said earlier, we may not get the Joe Flacco that we think we saw before 2 years ago.
You did say that. Yeah,
you did say that.
You said
and
you warned us. You warned us.
And he is looking like a shell of himself out there, which is unfortunate for the Cleveland Browns, man. Unfortunate for the Browns. Yeah. Any more takes, fellas?
I'm out. That's it.
I'm
throwing my hand in.
Hey, when the Cavs start? Hey, the Cavaliers start.
He's talking about the Cavs. I'm going to pull some stuff out.
And the Guardians are still in it,
They're still in it. They hanging around.
Yeah, they're still in it. Yeah, they're hanging around.
All right, man. I got some letters out the mailbag. We haven't answered any mailbag questions in a little bit, maybe in a couple weeks. So I'm going to pull some out today. This one is from Tasha in Cleveland. Tasha in Cleveland. Lionel and T, you guys seem to be great supporters of Kevin Stefanski after 2 games. What are your thoughts?
Tasha.
Tasha from Cleveland.
Tasha, sis, still supporting him. I'm still supporting him. I think his hands are kind of tied, with the owner and the GM. I'm still supporting him, but it's getting tough justifying that, okay? It's getting tough. I'm still with him. I still got him. I'm still down with him, but it's getting hard, sis. It really is. It's hard. It's hard.
I think what I've always said about Kevin Stefanski is that he is not a garbage coach. I think Kevin Stefanski, I know a little bit about Kevin Stefanski before he came to Cleveland because he was the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator, and I think he is a good coordinator. When you step into the role of head coach, it is basically a CEO position. It is basically a management position. You cannot put the time into, you can't put the time into your craft if you're doing things the right way because you have to manage everything. So my whole thing with Kevin Stefanski being a head coach, he should give that play calling to somebody else. I know he took it back recently within the last couple of years, but he should always have an offensive coordinator that calls the plays. In terms of a head coach, when the Browns were seeking a head coach and they were looking at Kevin Stefanski from the Minnesota Vikings, I said out loud that the Cleveland Browns should look elsewhere for a head coach because I always look at Kevin Stefanski as an offensive coordinator. If that's all he has to do, he can be very effective. I don't think he's a great leader of men. I don't think he makes great situational decisions. I don't think he makes great personnel decisions. And I think that's where Kevin Stefanski falls short. So I just want to clarify. I never said that he was a great coach. I just said when people talk about him being garbage, I don't think he's a garbage coach. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was my take on it.
Gotcha. And I was all for him. See, you know him better, than I do, Lionel,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
up there in Great North, and like you say, he was with the Vikings, so you knew more of him. I was all on board when they brought him in. From what I had heard and what others had said, and looking at his resume myself. But I'm still with him. But it's getting harder and harder to it's kind of like that sailor of mine that I keep going to the captain and say, hey, captain, keep him around, he gonna get right, yeah, it's tough, man, it's tough.
The next
Tough.
question is
question.
Marcus from Akron. He's saying, Hot Rod, you said 10 wins for the season. WTF.
Oh, Hot Rod.
Hot Rod, what you got for that, man?
What you got for
So
Marcus?
first of all, when I made that prediction, I said it was fluent. And I came back next week. I came back the next week. I said, as long as Joe Flacco stays upright. All right. Now, I'll own it. I don't have no problem in owning it. Okay. I still think now, do I think they'll win 10 games? No. Not from what I've seen the past 2 games. I can admit when I'm wrong. Okay. However, all right, don't be coming at me like that. No, I'm just joking. So no, but I mean, from what I'm seeing, like I said, defensively, that's a 10-win defense.
Yep, I can get down with that.
Offensively, we are not. And so at special teams, we are not. So yes, I will own it. I said 10-7. Okay. But I did have some caveats to it. All right. Give a brother a break. Okay. But I'll own it. I will own it. You got me.
This next question is from Ashley from Medina. She asks, the rookie class has been really good so far this year. It seems, which rookie will make the biggest impact for the rest of the season? That's a good question.
Wow. The kid from UCLA, what's the name again? On defense, what's the name?
Carson Schlesinger. Yeah.
Schlesinger, him, and Quinshawn, possibly. Those two. Yeah, those two.
Yeah.
I like Harold Finn, fellas.
Yeah, I like
Fanning.
Harold
Not
Harold
Fanning.
Finn. Harold Fanning, yeah.
I love Harold
like
Fanning Jr. I love it. I love how, he just moves differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he runs 5-6 yards out, turn, catch the ball,
But this solidifies what you said, L Train. This rookie class is really good. They're really good because I love Carson Schlesinger. I love what Quinshawn Junkins is going to bring to the table. I love Mason Graham. As a third down back, the kid from Tennessee. I love what the Browns rookie class, which for Andrew Berry is different. Now, Andrew Berry still can't draft a wide receiver. He can't draft a quarterback. He's still horrible when it comes to that. But this, and I'm going to be honest, even though this is a good rookie class, let's think about it. Where has been your deficiencies? Your deficiencies has been on offense. So in the draft, you trade down and you draft, your first 2 draft picks are defensive guys. That lets me know you're out of touch. You're out of touch. If you really thought that this offense was good enough, you let Nicholas Jamal Chubb walk, and you kept Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is awful. Like, he's awful. The reason Jerome Ford is around is because he can block. That's what's saving him right now.
He's good at that, yeah.
Because Dillon Sampson got destroyed yesterday,
Yep.
and Junkins haven't been on the field long enough. So that's why he's still on the field. But to answer the question, if I could pick one, I would take Harold Fanning Jr. I think he's going to be an issue.
Great pick.
And he reminds me, now here y'all go. Here's my comparison. He reminds me of Antonio Gates. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of a young Antonio Gates out in San Diego. He's got that kind of wiggle. He's got that kind of speed because he's a matchup nightmare. If you put him outside, if you try to bring a nickel corner down, he's bigger. If you try to bring a linebacker down, he's faster. So now, and then you got Njoku on the other side. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare. So
Good stuff, man. Devin from Chardon. This is the last one. Will Shedeur ever see the field this year? Devin from Chardon.
He probably will. Yeah, he probably will.
I don't want to go out on no limbs. I'm getting called out for my 10-7. I don't even want to. Yeah. I don't even want to reach out like that no more.
He probably will. 17 games is a long season, okay?
Yeah.
And Flacco is fizzling out. That candle is about to burn out, okay? We may see Dillon Gabriel in the next couple weeks, still early in the season. You're talking 4 or 5 games. I don't see Dillon Gabriel lasting to the very end. So to answer that question, but then again, I forgot about the Deshaun Watson factor. And if he gets healthy and comes in. So a lot of that depends on whether Deshaun gets in or not. So there you go.
Yeah,
so
I think. Go ahead, Rob.
Real quick. Y'all know my questions come, so I'm going to ask it. What happens to this fan base if you get to a point where Dillon Gabriel, whether he goes down, we don't wish injury on anybody, but he just can't go, and you have the choice between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, and you play Deshaun Watson, what do you think this fan base, with this, how do you feel as a fan if you have the opportunity? Because from what I'm hearing, he's not even getting scout team reps. Where the third string quarterback is supposed to get scout team reps. And from what I've heard, Shedeur is not even getting scout team reps.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi, isn't it?
Zappe is getting the scout team reps.
Yeah,
okay. So for me, as a football coach, I deem that disrespectful. That's disrespectful. You got
it's scary, Rod.
Yeah.
It's because Kevin Stefanski came out a couple of weeks ago, man, and said that, after that preseason game where Shedeur didn't play well, he said, we are dedicated to Shedeur's development. Well, if dedication means that he's not running the scout team, like if you can't give him that crumb, what sort of dedication is that to his development?
Right.
That speaks volumes to me.
Right. And that's why I'm saying I have an issue with Kevin Stefanski. I don't want to make that. I'm not getting into the Shedeur stuff. We already had a bunch of time talking about that. But most third string quarterbacks is on the scout team. They're running scout team. So you're saying that he's not good enough to even run scout team, where you have all the plays written on cards? He can't do that? Or could it be that you don't want him to run a scout team because the last time he did that against the first team defense, he sliced them up? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just asking,
And to add to that, if he's not, running the scout team, do you want to put him in there? Because really what you'll have is a quarterback that's not prepared, and he'll really look bad. So if he's not running the scout team and it's Bailey Zappi, it would be, to the detriment of Shedeur and his future going forward to even put him out there because, apparently he just wouldn't be ready. So that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah. He's not going to hit the field for the Browns. I think T, you said it best a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't really thought about it until you brought it up on the show where you talked about, hey, what if Deshaun comes back and he's healthy? Yeah. Would he get an opportunity? I think if they were faced with that predicament, it would be Deshaun Watson. And I believe, number one, because of the incompetence of the coaching staff, they feel like Deshaun Watson gives them a better chance to be successful. And at the same time, they know the Cleveland fan base is very resilient. So I think the Cleveland fan base will be upset, but they'll come back. They always do. Yeah. They'll come out. They'll sell that stadium.
Yeah, they'll come back.
Yeah, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough for the mailbag. We've got boot camp, T. All right, listen, man. I know T's got a lot of people that he could consider for boot camp. I am interested to see who's coming in to T's boot camp. Captain, who you got coming in this week?
Drop and give me 20, okay? Although it happened a week ago, Jalen Carter, step up, give me 20 push-ups immediately. Jalen Carter, for what you did, the disgusting spitting, and then on top of that, remember this kid dropped in the draft because he was part of, reckless driving where 2 people lost their lives, okay? Yeah, so anyway, Jalen Carter, definitely, and that was, over a week ago. and Roger Goodell for only just tapping him on the wrist. Put your suit on, Roger Goodell, and you give me 20 push-ups too. This ain't the NBA, Adam Silver, where you just tap players on the hand. Shame on you, Roger. Shame on you. You should have at least given this kid 2 or 3 games, man. Shame on you. So Roger Goodell and Jalen Carter, give me 20. Show up to T's boot camp.
Yeah, drop
Both
and
of you.
give the captain 20.
20, you two knuckleheads, all both
Hey,
of you.
I agree with both of those boot camp invitees.
That's it.
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
put
welcome.
them in boot camp.
Put them
Great
in boot
job
camp. Yep.
with the T's boot camp. Can't argue either one of those, man. Carter, that was a despicable act, man.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
national television, just
exactly.
a despicable act, man. So
Exactly.
hopefully when you go on the T's boot camp, you come out rehabilitated and better for it.
Better
Great
sailing.
job, T. Great job.
Right.
All right, we got to hit the segment. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. I've got one this week that I think is pretty good. Let me pull it up here. Looking at the emotions of the Cleveland fan base and the frustration of the Cleveland fan base, here's where I am going with this one. And this is going to be a different twist to it, fellas. This is going to be a different twist to it. I was thinking about this weekend. What is the most, us being passionate Cleveland Browns fans, Guardians fans, Cavalier fans, Browns fans, our families were all Cleveland sports fans. We've invested a lot of time in these Cleveland teams, right?
Sure
We've invested a lot of time.
Sure
So my start one, bench one, cut one, erase one is going to be the most gut-wrenching moments in Cleveland Browns sports history.
Wow.
The most gut-wrenching moments.
Wow.
And here's where it's tweet, guys. The one that you erase is flipped. The one that you erase is going to be the one that you just want to get rid of the most. So the most gut-wrenching is going to be the erase.
Okay.
The least most gut-wrenching is going to be the one that you start. All right, so look at this one a little bit differently. The first one is, of course, the drive. John Elway goes 98 yards in 5 minutes to tie the game. I believe Brian Brennan had just scored a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns.
Number 86, Brian
That's
Brennan.
right. Municipal Stadium was going crazy. I remember as a kid, I'm jumping up in my room. I heard my dad hit the table downstairs in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
A tear was running down my eye because I said we going to the Super Bowl.
Yep, I remember.
Browns lose it in OT 23-20.
I was in Cleveland, too.
Yeah.
I was
The
on leave.
Yep. The next gut-wrenching moment in Cleveland Browns history is not in Cleveland Browns, Cleveland sports history. You've got to put the fumble up there with Ernest Biner. Ernest Biner. So you got the drive, you got Ernest Biner. Ernest Biner fumbles the ball at the 2-yard line with 1:12 seconds left, down 38-31. Broncos recover. All right? My third one, 1995, fellas, the Browns' relocation to becoming the Baltimore Ravens. Gut-wrenching, man. Gut-wrenching. I was in college when that happened, and I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. And then my last one is the 2010 decision by LeBron James to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers to go to the Miami Heat, South Beach. He's taking his talents to South Beach to win not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. So you've got the drive, you've got the fumble, you got the Browns relocation, 1995, and you've got 2010 LeBron James departure.
L-Train, I must say, man, and I got on you a couple of start one, bench one, cut one, erase one a couple of times ago. This has been the best one, man.
That's tough,
this
man.
By far, this is the best one. This is the best one. I'll go first, Hot Rod, and keep it in mind, the erase one is the one that I wish never happened. Okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wish never happened. So I'm going to even go in that order, okay? I'm going to go in that order. The one that I want to erase and I wish was never part of history is the drive, because we were that close.
Oh man.
We were that close to drive. The drive. I can
Yes.
still picture that field. I
Yep.
was home on leave. I was next door to you watching the game. Hell, we may have all been together. We may have all been together. So yeah, the drive has to be erased. The one I would cut is the relocation. The relocation to the city of Baltimore.
Yeah.
The one I will bench is the fumble. The one that I would bench is the fumble. And the one that hurts the least, although it hurt too, it really did, it hurt too, was the decision. Okay, so in that order: erase the drive, cut the relocation, bench the fumble, and start the decision, which is the least out of the most painful ones, man. So that's mine.
All right.
Hi, Rod. What do you got?
So for me, the one that I want to get rid of is actually the fumble. I have the fumble at number 4. Then number 3, I have the Browns relocating. Number 2 is the drive. And number 1 is the decision.
Okay.
Wow.
My mindset behind those was when I saw the fumble, everybody piled on Ernest Biner and just piled on him.
Yeah.
But then
I remember
I became a football coach, and I literally went back and I watched that game as a football coach. And I'll be the first one to say this. I said this out loud. That wasn't Ernest Biner's fault. That was Webster Slaughter's fault. Webster Slaughter's assignment was to block Jeremiah Castile. He whiffed, and Castile is the one who stripped Ernest Biner. If Webster Slaughter makes that block, Ernest Biner walks into the end zone. And that year, I believe, was when the New York Giants won the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, yeah, you're right.
And
you're right.
That year, the Browns bludgeoned the New York Giants. That Lawrence Taylor New York Giants, Bernie Kosar just lit them up. Yeah. So if Ernest Biner walks in the end zone, there's a good possibility that the Cleveland Browns win the world championship that year.
Okay, wow.
So
I've never heard anybody break it down that way, but I'm kind of picturing that play. I'm kind of
go back and watch
it. Wow,
it.
Rod.
And don't watch Ernest Biner. Don't watch Ernest Biner. Go watch Webster Slaughter. Webster Slaughter was supposed to block the corner. And that corner that he did not block was the one who stripped Biner.
Wow. Okay. Number 84.
A lot of emotion in these 4 things, gut-wrenching moments, because I probably teared up on all of them, to be honest with you. So I just a lot of moments. My erase one would have to be the drive.
The drive. Okay.
And there's a lot of emotion in that because I was a kid that had seen the Browns go through some bad years. You know, we drafted Bernie Kosar. We got the coach in Marty Schottenheimer. You know, we had the running game. That was a
solid ass team.
Oh, that was a solid team. Solid team. And the game was a hard fought game. I still go back and look at that game because I enjoyed every moment of that game except for the drive. Yeah, and then when Brian Brennan scored that touchdown, I just knew it was over.
Yeah, I did too.
Because we had the dogs on defense and Marty Schottenheimer went to prevent. And I can't remember who's calling the game. I don't know if it was Trumpy or not, but he said the only thing that the prevent defense does is prevent you from winning.
Yep.
Prevent you from winning. So that was I wish I could erase that because in my mind, even if you go over the goal line with the fumble, all you do is tie that game. Like the Browns had the hammer and they should have won that game. It was as close as we're possibly going to get to the Browns going to the Super Bowl at this time. So I would look at that as an erase one. I look at the decision as a cut one. LeBron James, homegrown player. Something special that Cleveland had, even though he was from Akron. The fact that it worked out for the Cavaliers to be able to take him with the first pick in the draft, it just seems like it was meant to be. He cut his teeth with the Cleveland Cavaliers, had some good years, and you knew that if the Cavaliers had time, that they would be able to put a good team around him and win a championship. And when he decided to go to Miami, it was just heartbreaking for me. So that would be my cut one. Tough man.
Wow.
Tough one. And then I would have the Browns relocation. I could never imagine a time and place where the Cleveland Browns would not be a part of Cleveland, and that Art Modell, who had seemed to be a passionate owner for the city of Cleveland, had trouble getting the stadium. If you guys remember, in late night on an airplane meeting with owners in Baltimore that wanted to move the team to Baltimore.
Yeah.
When the announcement came down that the Cleveland Browns were moving to Baltimore, gut-wrenching, man.
Yeah.
Just I couldn't imagine the city without Cleveland. But it shows you, and this is why I say the city of Cleveland is the most passionate fan base in the world, because there's not another city that could have gotten the rights to their team after the move and allowed that team to come back. That's Cleveland sports for you. And don't underestimate that. That's Cleveland sports for you. And then last but not least would be the fumble. If I had to keep one that probably didn't hurt as much, it did hurt, but out of the four, this one probably hurt the least, and that was the fumble from Ernest Biner. And I'm glad Hot Rod has that coaching eye, because now I'm going to go back and look at what Hot Rod said, and that's probably going to make me feel a little bit better about that situation and what happened. But that's my start one, bench one, cut one.
That's one we've done, L Train. Hey, where's the clap? Where's the clap? Where's the clap? Where's the clap? Yeah, that was the best one. That's the best one. Yep.
Yeah. So we've got our pardon. We've got our Hot Rod is having some technical difficulties. What do you got for a pardon shot this week?
Yeah, for pardon shot, I like to go with the big boys getting knocked off by the little engine that could. Old Dominion football Monarchs beat Virginia Tech, okay, this past weekend, and that's the second time they've played them in 3 years, and we've beaten Tech both times. So hats off to the Old Dominion Monarchs of Norfolk, Virginia. They're ranked number 56 in the college football power rankings, and they beat Frank Beamer's old school, Virginia Tech. Now, remember we once talked about what's the biggest thing sports-wise in certain areas? Definitely here is Commanders football, but, you can say a close tie is Tech football too, okay? Being the two biggest things in the state of Virginia. So Virginia Tech football and Commanders football, okay? But I give Virginia Tech a little bit of an edge, but Old Dominion knocked them off this past weekend, 45-26. Go Monarchs.
Awesome. My pardon shot is from a young lady. Her name is Talia Walton, who grew up here in Wisconsin. I used to coach her. Talia Walton was, I can tell you this, Talia was a hard worker growing up. I've known her ever since she was a little girl. Her dream was to play professional basketball. She used to always tell me, Coach, I'm going to the WNBA. Coach, I'm going to the WNBA. Well, long story short, Talia Walton has made a professional basketball roster, not in the WNBA, but overseas. And I'm extremely proud of Talia and her mom, who have sacrificed a lot for Talia to be able to do some of the things that she does and make it. So hats off to Talia Walton. I know she watches the show, so
the
I'm
WNBA
really
will be
proud
next for her.
The
WNBA will be next for her. Yeah,
absolutely.
No
Totally
doubt.
proud
Good
of you,
for her.
Talia. Good job.
Good for her.
Hot Rod, what do you got?
Awesome. That's awesome. So my pardon shot is to ESPN reporter, former NFL player Chris Canty. He got into a heated argument with Tony Rizzo about Baltimore doing the 30-year, thing during the Browns game. And I'm gonna send a shout out to Chris Canty, because he has just personified the ineptitude of some people who get behind the microphone, who don't understand about a fan base, who has no clue about what the Cleveland Browns fans had went through so he turned around and ripped the scar off. We're trying to get over this. Now, eventually we need to, but my parting shot is to Chris Canty. Hey, Chris, get a clue. all right? Before you even grab a microphone, understand and research when you're talking about a fan base, all right? The Cleveland Browns fan base is passionate, and when Art Modell took the Browns out of Cleveland, it hurt. It hurt a lot of people because we are a passionate fan base.
Yeah, it did.
So before you get on this national mic, sir, please understand what you're talking about before you open your mouth. And real quick, I wanted to say an honorable mention on our start one, cut one, bench one, and erase one. I'm surprised you did not say Jordan over Elo.
Yeah, Rod, it was.
I'm surprised that we didn't.
And when I was
do
going through
Jordan
this,
over Elo.
it was right there.
Yeah.
It was right there. It was right there. It could have easily been in there for sure.
And Brad inbounded him the ball. Remember,
that's
Lionel? Brad
mention.
inbounded Jordan the ball. Yeah,
Honorable
Brad
mention.
did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brad Sellers,
Sure
our
did.
homeboy, our guy.
Sure did.
Hey man,
Sure
good
did.
show, fellas. Great parting shots. Good show. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Please hit that like and subscribe button. The station is growing each week. We're seeing that subscriber list going up. We're seeing the likes list going up. So
Tell a friend about us. Tell a friend about us.
Share. We enjoy putting out that great content, national content, Cleveland content, whatever. But it's great doing the show with you fellas. Thanks again for a fantastic show. This has been 3 the Hard Way. And for 3 the Hard Way Nation, as always, we will see you when we see you. Have a blessed week, fellas.